Okay, so here's a short review of Elden Ring in 2024. This game came out 2 years ago, and I beat it twice. My first playthrough was also my first ever Souls experience, and I loved every single second of it. Elden Ring is an open world action RPG, and it's one of the greatest games I've ever played, if not the greatest. I wish that I can go back in time and just experience it for the first time again. This game's scale and beauty is as mind-blowing as your first ever mind-blowing. If you know what I mean. Thanks to user VD5FC1UU6Z for requesting this game's review. First of all, fix that fucking name. Second of all, you look like you're getting a Johnny Hand blaster in your picture. The reason I'm making this review is because the new DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree, which I will be making a video of, releases pretty soon after this video is posted, and you will need an endgame build to even have a chance at starting that DLC, unless you're a god at Souls games and your jawline is sharper than your cock. For this review, I started a whole new character just to go through the pain again. And this is the kind of pain that you'll enjoy. Kinda like your first time picking it up. The Elden Ring is From Software's first open world game, and the open world here is one of the best worlds I got to explore. It's absolutely massive, and although it looks wide and empty at times, it's dense as hell, filled with many dungeons, caves, and so many fucking secrets that it takes so long to fully experience, and it's worth every second. Exploration is very rewarding, and every time you walk into a new corner of the map, the game goes higher up in your list of top 10 games of all time. There's just so much to see and so much to miss if you're a person that mainlines games like this. Some of the best boss fights in the game are just optional bosses in very far corners of the map that you just thought you'd never see. And here's the thing, there is no quest journal in the game. The game literally throws you in this massive map and just leaves you alone, and you're free to go wherever you want. A lot of times you're completing the game without realizing that you're completing the game, and I love that. In my first playthrough, I remember just looking up and seeing this gigantic glowing tree and decided, that's probably where I should go. I haven't felt freedom and exploration in a game like this since, Skyrim. A lot of your exploration is done on your mount, named Torrent, which is an agile, controller-friendly, and double jumping mount that you can spawn whenever you want in this open world. This is a Souls game, so it's harder than my bamboozle on a Tuesday night while playing World of Warcraft, but it's not the hardest. I personally found Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro to be much harder than Elden Ring, because Elden Ring allows you to backtrack from a boss that you're stuck on and go and explore another place and just level up and come back stronger than ever. It's easier to find a site of grace, which is equivalent to a bonfire in Dark Souls, and many more opportunities to gain runes, which is equivalent to souls in Dark Souls. If you haven't played any of these games, then I guess here's a simplified gameplay loop. You spawn, you kill a bunch of enemies while walking down a not so linear path with a lot of loot on the way and a limited amount of potions, gain a resource which is called runes in Elden Ring after killing the enemy, find a checkpoint, rest at the checkpoint where you can spend runes to upgrade your created character's attributes, get all your health and potions back, also making it your new spawn point along the way, and respawning all the enemies that you already killed and repeat. You can fast travel to any of these checkpoints, and there's more to be found on the way, and at the end of it, there's an epic boss battle. In Elden Ring, this is done in an open world, and it's done masterfully. The combat is just Dark Souls. It's stiff, it's usually slow, and the wrong move is extremely punishing, but it's satisfying as hell. With each hit, you get this blood-gushing sound effect that rushes dopamine to your brain like you're Charles Manson. There's so many weapons and armor types, and you have a very wide selection of builds to switch to during your runs. You can go sword and shield, hands, naked, dual-wielding katanas, magic staff, light to heavy armor, two-handed dagger I'm pretty sure, and much more. Each weapon and weapon type comes with its own set of animations and powers. I heard the new DLC will also add a lot more to this already large selection. The game's story is told through subtle dialogue once in a while, and there are a decent amount of NPCs to interact with, which help the player understand the lore and their purpose in the story. Many of them can be found in a place that kind of acts like a main safe house called the Round Table, where you can get more untracked quests, gear, and upgrades. The story is very minimalistic, and is pretty cliche at this point. You are tarnished, and you're tasked with restoring the Elden Ring and becoming the Elden Lord in the lands between, which is ruled by demigods. In short, you're the chosen one that must save the world. This game is simple, not in difficulty, but in gameplay. Its gameplay loop is so good and engaging, you forget how simple and repetitive it actually is. You also forget the time. I have over 240 fucking hours in this game, and I'm ready to add another 60 to 100 hours easily with the upcoming DLC and the rest of the base game. This game is basically bug-free, and performance has improved on PC since launch. It's one of the most polished games I've ever played, and my first playthrough was an experience I wish I could relive. This game does everything good to amazingly well. There isn't anything in the game's design and decisions that I find to be bad decisions. I saw many people complaining that this game is way too hard, and to be honest, it's just a skill issue, man. I never played a Souls game before this, and I beat it at least twice, and I'm about to do it again. I've become so good and used to the game on my new character this run. I managed to beat most of the main bosses first try, and without being too overpowered. If I can do it, you can too. And you should. This is not a game you want to miss. Elden Ring has top tier music that makes you feel like you've been given one more chance. Satisfying combat that you appreciate getting used to. One of the greatest open world designs I have ever seen, and I can't name more than 2 games that match this masterpiece. The art direction is jaw-dropping and worth many screenshots. The boss battles are epic and extremely rewarding. I purposefully die on some of the bosses in my first playthrough because I didn't want it to end. The secrets, the loot, the messages other players leave on the side of cliffs encouraging you to jump off for a secret item, which eventually just leads to an unnecessary death. The live ghosts of players playing in real time running around, letting you know that you're not alone. The caves, the dungeons, the castles, and so much more that I do not want to spoil. I can't wait to play the DLC, and I look forward to experiencing more of this game with a harder journey filled with more boss battles and locations to discover. This game's take on discovery made it one of the greatest gaming experiences I've ever had in my entire life. Elden Ring is a once in a while. One of the safest 10 out of 10s I believe anyone can give a game. Elden Ring is a masterpiece and worth every single penny that I spent on it. At the time of this recording, we've reached 56 subscribers. To most of you, that number probably sounds pretty low, but I'm very grateful. It means that I've managed to gain the trust of 56 people. And I hope to always bring you content that you'll enjoy. If you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And why not take a look at some of my merch available? If you're into cool designs and streetwear, the link is in the description for that. And let me know what game I should do next, and I'll always be grateful for your ongoing support. It's making a dream come true.